What is going on, everybody? How you doing? It's another Friday night, and welcome back to the IE podcast. Uh, as always, I'm your host, Dr. Zen. How you doing? Hope everybody's doing well tonight. It's another Friday. Who is coming in? A lot of stuff's coming in, folks. It's been a rough couple of weeks for us. Our wilds are on fire again. We didn't want them on fire like this, but they're on fire again because we're buying too much stuff. Well, I should say all our pre-orders are coming in, are kicking in, and it's a lot. It's a lot going on. A lot going on right now. But hope we all doing well. Other than that, let's just kick things off. Let's get right into it. Let's see. We got 3 comments right now, unless something's wrong with my stream. I don't know. But whatever. We got Mark Rose says, "What's up?" Johnny says, "Dante's back again." Dante's back again. Guess who's back? Yes, I am back on Fridays again. I said start in June, but hey, kicked it off a little bit early now. So I'm here. We're here to have a good time. My boy Don Machicharo says hello there. And Robert Diaz with AOA. No, nobody's talking about Age Apocalypse. Nobody's talking about Age Apocalypse. The worst apocalypse age of anything. We got Pokey says, "Happy Friday, Goon Squad. What's going on? How you doing, Pokey?" So that's it for comments. Wow, that's a quick comment. That's the quickest we ever got through comments, folks. So let's welcome our guest, the owner and manager, and I'll call him CEO of his. I'm sorry, I see him in the corner just like laughing about what I'm saying. So I apologize. Owner, manager, CEO of Vantage InHouse, Mr. Victor Danders.
Yo, I'm good. Listen, I laugh because when it comes to that, I don't even know what I should call myself. President, CEO, editor-in-chief. I wear all the hats.
Exactly.
I'll take them.
Artist, the inker, the writer.
Listen, no. Okay, those are 2 hats I refuse to wear is illustrator, inker. I can draw, but I hate doing it. So I refuse to draw. Even for my own imprint, I won't do it. Like,
really,
I will not. I don't have the passion for drawing. I like most comic book writers. I got into the business wanting to be a penciler without question, but there came a point where I realized I don't have the passion for it, and I stagnated at my skill level because I didn't have the desire to practice to get better at it. And I recognized that. And what I realized that I fell in love with more was writing stories. So writer, yes, but I hate drawing. I hate drawing. It's so bad.
You're the opposite of me because like I used to love drawing.
Mm-hmm.
I used to draw, and now it's gone. Like it's kind of there. It's like
it's in there. It's in there.
What is it like? I'm trying to think of like a show to compare it to. Like almost like All Might when you ate that little piece of hair, it's like, hey, it's that little spark in there,
right?
It's like, Cork in the day, son. Go ahead, and pack it up.
Come on now,
pack it
up. Come on. No, I'm sure with the right impetus, that spark will explode all over the place. I trust.
Very true, but I'm like you. I'm more like I've done a lot of writing.
Yeah,
I just haven't found like an artist to like put it out there with.
Okay.
So,
I understand. Now, that's one of the things that makes me a very judicious writer because I can draw and I understand the language of drawing. What I ask for gets tough because I can speak the artist's language because it's what I came right. Oh, I have artists that are like, well, you can't draw. And I'm like, yeah, but I know what I'm looking for, and that ain't it. And they're like, well, but, and I'm like, nah, come on. I want this. Elevate, reach for it. That's me.
Because you envision it. You're like, all right, I know what I like. I feel it. This is how.
Yes.
Like, hopefully, I'm explaining it right to you, and you see what I'm seeing, and then like, bam, you put it on the paper.
All right, so you're gonna make me like retract what I said of sorts, because here's the thing. So in my writing process, and I'm sure we'll get into this more, I do draw. Like I do the layouts for all my books. And the way that I do this, like I write everything I write 3 times. I write it in prose first, which kind of ends up being like my overall outline. Then I draw it as layouts, and then I use that layout to script it. So I'm literally taking a drawing of my idea to write out what I want in the script. So for me as a writer, I have to make sure that visually it makes sense what I'm asking for the artist to do. And so if I can do it, if I can make it make sense visually with stick figures or whatever, then I know they should be able to do it because they have the better acumen of illustration than I do. So if it gets bad enough where like I'm trying, and I'm trying to describe something and the artist still doesn't quite get it, I'll give them the layout and go, this is what I want. And they're like, oh, why didn't you just say that? I'm like, that is what I was saying. If you match it, you can see it. Every once in a while it happens. It's not often, but every once in a while it's like, oh, I see it now. And I'm like, you saw it before. You was just trying to test me. I see what you was doing. You know. Okay, so yes.
What doing.
Exactly.
Let's see. My buddy Robert says, I did a clutchless vamp this week for $70. That's not bad. The vamp, vamp is hands down one of the best vehicles out there. Yeah, you know what, Dom? I was watching it. So 4 horsemen in the middle revealing their stuff might be a little bit for people pop in. That is very true. I forgot because I was watching the 4 horsemen.
He had to jump in like, oh, I got a podcast to do. Hold on, let me jump in.
Because their figures are freaking amazing. We're going to talk about them tonight, but their figures are freaking, the way they do their figures are just
dope.
We got Stridon says, what's going on? He says, hello, everyone. Pokey says, watch a SmackDown, i.e., while resetting my display. Couldn't think of a better night. Well, I appreciate that. Hopefully, SmackDown's good.
Gotta love that.
SmackDown's been getting better and better since I got my boy Cody Rhodes on there at the one of the very first Black champs.
Cody been black since his daddy. Okay, Cody already had a seat at the cookout. Okay, Dusty secured that a long time ago. So
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. When I seen it, yo, I forget. Somebody said, like, I think I found on Instagram, they were doing his song and they like showed him standing with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. I'm like, who did this?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm okay for the culture. For the culture, I'm cool with it.
I was like, yo, this is some next level stuff, right? Like, you just take it to the next level.
Cody gets that pass. He gets that pass.
That is true. That's very true.
That's too funny.
Stride says, comic writer's vision.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to wield. One of the things that I do in my job is I teach people how to make comics, from little kids to teenagers, and sometimes I mentor and consult adults that are trying it out for the first time. And it's very interesting to see how people have a concept of having a story, but not necessarily being storytellers. And you can see it, when it comes to comic writers that are brand new, not understanding the parts and pieces of comics and how to effectively wield those things to effectively tell stories. And that's all part and parcel of what I do. That's part of my whole package as being the hardest working man in comics. So it's a lot.
Well, you're hard. Well, we'll get into this too. You're hard to make comics and hardest working moderator I've seen.
I put that under the umbrella. That's it's all one and the same.
Then let's see real quick here. Don says, ever see Dusty play basketball? Dude was raining threes. Yes.
Word?
Yeah, Dusty was good at basketball.
I believe that.
Yo, I don't think there's nothing that Dusty wasn't really good at, because he's like, what you gonna tell me, baby? You can't tell me that I can't play no basketball. Look at that.
What you talking about? Like that's and I can see Dusty Rhodes talking trash to you in a way that just would hurt your feelings. Brother, did you see that 3 I just shot? You didn't shoot a 3. Pow! I just did. You see how I called it? Like that's the thing. Like, yeah, Dusty Rhodes would tell you what he's gonna do.
You to walk away, to run back, like looking at everybody, like, Dusty, why are you doing this to everybody? Come on,
he's giving them shoulders over there. Love it. Yes.
Pick up games, Dusty. Come on, man. Oh, man.
I love it.
Let's see what else. What's going on, no man? How you doing? What's going on, sir?
Hey,
boy, White Vegeta. What's going on? All right, so Victor, so for those, because I met you the first time at Fan Expo Philly,
Yes.
and it was a pleasure talking to you. Yeah,
Same.
we thank you. We had a long, good conversations about everything and everything. So we
Yes, we
can't go
did.
into here.
Fair.
But tell us a little about yourself, how you got into this, and now and how'd you make it to like being a creator and a moderator.
So it's all tied together, right? My origin story is common to those people that do know me. So I'll start it like this. Okay, so I'm Victor Dandridge, lovingly called the hardest working man in comics, and it all started when I was 10 years old, and they announced in the news that Superman was going to die, and I'm like, I want to read that because the thing is, I hated reading as a child. Like I hated books. Books were boring. They were like you'd have to pay me to get me to read a book, and it wasn't that I had any deficiencies with reading. Just books in general, like Huck Finn, it didn't matter to me. They didn't resonate to me. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, and still where I live to this day because like the cost of living is too good. But I was about pop culture, movies, music, cartoons, things like that. Like that mattered to me. That was a language that I understood. And you know who Superman is. Everybody knows who Superman is. And the idea that they're going to kill him and that it's actually on the news, which means that it's kind of real, got me. I'm like, I want to read that. And my mom, who just passed away in April, so this is like a very like special story for me. No, thank you. She had been sick for a little bit, so this is kind of like that homegoing. She's free from pain, which is what we care about.
Right.
But she heard me say this and like immediately like bought me comics. Like she worked at our local mall, came home with a stack of comics and was like, "Wow, you want to read comics? Read comics." And it sparked something. Like I fell in love like immediately. The stories, the art, everything, it just hit. And I'm like, yes, this is everything that I need. And like I was hooked. So much so that like I go over to my dad's house. My parents split up when I was young. So I go over to my dad's house and I got this stack of comic books. And he's like, "What you know about them?" And I'm like, "What do you know about them?" Like my dad is like the quintessential like jock. Like this dude played football. And in my head, he would never touch a comic book. Like not my dad. My dad is that's fit right there. You don't do like no. My dad tells me this is where the big reveal comes. He's like, "Nah, I was a nerd." And I'm like, "What? Like with them shoulders? Like what are you talking about? You was no nerd." This dude would skip French class to hustle chess in the lunchroom. I was like, "Oh, you are a nerd. Oh my goodness. Like that's incredible. You are nerdy." But like, so I'm bringing these comics and he's like, "Yeah, I used to read comics." And he's like, "Did you know that 3 of your uncles could draw?" And I'm like, what is this? Like all of a sudden I'm finding out all kinds of stuff about my own family that I knew nothing about. And so comics changed everything for me. Like literally put me on this path where not only did I start reading more, I got into art, I started writing stories, and it propelled me from elementary school all the way through high school. I went to an arts impact high school, went to commercial art for vocation studies, so I'm certified in commercial art and graphic design. I even attended very briefly, I'm a happy dropout of Columbus College of Art and Design because that's how far I went with this goal of wanting to be an artist. And along the way, you get these passions, you meet people, and you try to get into the business, into the game. And very first like major show that I ever went to was Wizard World Chicago in 2003. I'm back in time, baby, back in time. I'm playing sidekick to my neighbor Dan Leister, who had done like a book with a guy that worked for Wizard at the time. And like he's got this table that he's getting to have. So I'm like, "Yo, can I come with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, absolutely." So we're piled up and I see like a premiere show for the first time. And I'm like, I gotta be here. Like this is where I need to be. Like this energy, this is what it is. And the very next year, I grabbed a couple of my friends from college, and I'm like, "Hey, listen, let's get a table, and we're gonna do sketches for people live right there on the show floor." And like the master plan was, we're the new kids coming in. We're gonna raise money for it's called Heroes Initiative now, but it used to be called Actor. Right. So it's called A Commitment to Our Roots. And so the goal was, there's like 5 of us. We were going to do sketches, raise money for Actor. and try to put ourselves on by giving to the old heads who didn't have stuff. And that's how I met like Jim McLaughlin, and just like things just kind of opened up like tier wise. And I just kept like hustling that way. One of my best good friends, my brother from another mother, Mike Watson, he has an imprint called Freestyle Comics. And that's where I cut my teeth in terms of writing. Literally, I stole the handwritten script that he had for his first issue, and I read it, and I was like, this is trash. I'm rewriting it. And he's like, it's my book. And I'm like, and it's trash. I'm rewriting it. And so I literally stole it and rewrote it. And like, he hires me, and, you know, I'm the writer for the first 6.5 issues of his flagship title. And that opened up doors for me as well, where I'm like, I want to write comics. Like, this is actually it. Like, forget the drawing. I don't even like that anymore. I want to write amazing stories. And so I do. And we get to a point where, you know, we're trying to make some moves in Central Ohio, and people are paying attention to us, but the production isn't quite coming as fast as I want it to on his end. So I'm like, yo, I don't want to wait. So why don't I start my own imprint? And so in 2010, I had a cushy state job that I quit, walked away from a cushy job to make comics full time. And that has been my full-time job since October 8th, 2010. And since then, I've had the great fortune of producing, I think it's 10 amazing titles in the small press market. I launched an imprint called You Create Comics, which is all about bringing comics into the classroom and encouraging kids who are just like me, who would rather read comics than traditional books, and show how comics can promote literacy, better clarifications in communication, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, all that stuff. And so I launched an entire teaching line and workshop imprint. And I've been doing that at schools, convention centers, libraries, universities all across the country, and just kind of build up. And that's kind of how everything started. That was like, that's my condensed origin story up to like 2016. Like, that was, I was living on the con circuit. I was going to shows, through my, kind of showcase of things. I managed to become a featured guest of Wizard World before they closed down. And so when Wizard World would, have a show, they would bring me out, and I'm talking about, like, not only would they give me a table, they would cover my hotel, they would cover my flight, and I became kind of that big deal guy. Even though I've never worked for Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, I just hustled it that hard that's where the name Hardest Working Man in Comics came from. Because every time people would turn around, they'd see me at a show, they'd see me on a panel, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it just kind of blew up from there. And in 2016, everything took a turn because Wizard World, through some staffing changes, came to me and they were like, hey, listen, you're pretty good at talking to people. Would you ever do a celebrity panel? And I'm like, if y'all need me to, consider it done. I mean, y'all do so much for me. Why wouldn't I? Like, what do y'all need? And so it's September 2016. We're at Wizard World Tulsa. And they're like, oh, yeah, we want you to moderate, Sebastian Stan. And I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, time out. You want my first panel to be your marquee guest of this show? And they're like, yeah, you can handle it. I guess so. Okay. Well, I guess that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Trial by fire. You throw it out there. And my very first panel, packed room, had a blast. And I've been doing that ever since. So it's been all about transitions and growth and opening doors and all that jazz.
See, if it was me, I'd be like, yeah, Sebastian, so how was it like when you were on Law and Order? When you were a young guy on Law and Order, sir?
Yo, everybody had a stint on Law and Order, okay? That's the thing. That is the truth. Everybody has had us. Pick a person. There's an episode of Law and Order that they were on, maybe 2 even. Like, everybody's been on Law and Order.
Yeah, that is true, because we did talk about this. We did talk about this.
That's right.
Like, everybody that's been almost in the MCU has been on Law and Order.
Yes.
Or one of Law and Order shows.
Yes.
So it's like, when you see like Chadwick Boseman, like, oh, Chadwick, is that you?
Yeah.
You been with that gangbanging? Oh, Chad. Black Panther.
Hey, everybody had to do their time. If you weren't blessed by Ice-T, if you didn't get blessed by Ice-T, you're not gonna make it. Okay, that's the bottom line. That's all I'm saying.
So what you saying over here is, yo, I'm telling you, if you ever watch John Mulaney, anybody out here watching, watch John Mulaney and him like talking about Ice-T. It's the most hilarious thing. And he's like, I love Ice-T on Law and Order Special Victims Unit. He's like, because he just acts like everything's like brand new to.
Spot on.
But I digress. But with the Superman, I understand like how with that feeling because my mom did the same thing.
Yes.
She's like, I know you're gonna want those comics. I'm like, you know it, Mom. She was one of like, hey, Superman's dying. I was like, nah, they can't kill Superman. They can't.
What you mean they gonna kill Superman? Show me. I need to see it.
Every news article they had, she was like, here you go. Like, thank you. That's all. And I'm like you. I was like you. I was only reading comics.
That's
Books were not my thing. Like the very few, like Indie in the Cupboard, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool.
I wouldn't even read that. And I know that's a great book. I wouldn't even read that.
Right.
I'm so bad. Things change. After comics, I got the Goosebumps. R.L. Stine head, like for real.
See,
everything changed.
Those never gripped me. Goosebumps
really
never gripped me. Yeah. It was always more. I more was like superhero, sci-fi kind of stuff.
Got you.
All right, but then there was no books about wrestling, so you didn't get your wrestling.
I get that.
So it was just like, all right, these are this is what I like. I'm like, but then it's like when you go over to Black Home, you're like, all right, it's time to read some Black History book. Oh, come on. Like, look at people with that. Go, not today. Like,
not the Black History book. Come on.
Exactly.
Can't I be Black History? I got to read Black History.
Right. I'm like, oh, Roots is on. Come on.
Not everybody gather around. Roots is on. That's hilarious.
Or what was it? Shaka Zulu, too.
Every time. That's right.
They had us. They like, yo, they made sure they like, you gonna get your culture. You're gonna make sure you're gonna see where you came from.
That's right. You're gonna learn today.
No, it's awesome for you. Like, you know what? I just noticed my mic wasn't plugged in. Oh my goodness.
I mean, I can hear you well. Oh, wow. Okay. Listen, you was making it work.
That is true. It is.
Okay, oh wow!
There we go.
Oh, that's so different.
Oh, wait a minute. Now I changed my audio. Okay, there we go.
That is so different. All right, that's gonna be funny.
Oh my goodness!
You can't hear me now.
Oh my goodness.
Unplug it. Take it off.
Okay, can you say something now?
Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
I just unplugged my mic there.
Okay.
That's really weird that it just doing
that. Listen, that's the devil doing the work. We was having too good of a conversation. You gotta try to interrupt somehow.
Okay. I think we're back.
Okay. There we go.
Nope. Still can't hear you.
No, still hear me? Man, I can hear you just fine
already. Oh my goodness.
I wonder if anybody in the comments, can y'all tell whether y'all can hear Dante or not? Because I can hear him.
Okay. Say something for me again.
Can you hear me now? What about now?
No? I think it's just headsets.
It's the headset? Yeah, I was going to say, in the comments, they're saying y'all can see both of us. You can hear both of us.
Let's see.
That's so crazy. Scooby Dooby Doo.
Okay. There we go.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's my headsets. I don't know why.
I was gonna say everyone in the comments was saying that they can hear us both. So hopefully you didn't say nothing untoward that you didn't mean to say, because they can hear it the whole time.
Yeah. Like no. No. But it, it's crazy like how some people have like the same background, but like growing up doing this, like liking the same things, and how it all kind of, it was much because I didn't know that. I was like, yeah, somebody was like me as a kid, like, yeah, we would have got along great.
See,
like, I'm like, shoot, like
You like being at home. You like don't go outside. Hey, so do I. We're good.
$1,000,000%. Yes. $1,000,000%. You know.
I'm like, yo, let me stay in my house and display my superpowers. I'm good.
Listen, as a young black teen in the early 90s, and I have this conversation with people just to kind of paint the picture of what it was like. Being in Columbus, you know, a lot of people think when it comes to Ohio specifically, that we're kind of a cowtown state. And because we're not, you know, Cleveland or Cincinnati, which are in the tail ends, we're right in the middle. We really get that kind of like stipulation of, oh, y'all ain't got nothing there. You're not a real city. So in the 90s, the gang culture here was like ramped up as they were trying to prove that they were something to deal with. So comics kind of gave me a safe place to not be a part of that stuff. And, you know, I grew up on the south side of my city. And when I tell you, like, again, my parents were split up. Both of them lived on the south side, but in two separate parts of the south side that had rival gangs to one another. So in a weird kind of way, like if I got a part of that life, there's some aspect of my home that I would not have been safe, because one way or the other, when I'm here or if I'm there, I'm going to find rivalries in some way, shape, or form. Comics kept me out of that completely. And the only red and blues that I dealt with were Marvel and DC. Like that was it. That's all I dealt with. And everyone knew that about me. And it kept me safe. It kept me out of trouble. And it was respected because I wasn't a problem for anybody else. Oh no, that's a comic book guy. He's not in these streets. He doesn't do that. He's in comics. Like leave him alone. And that's, you know, so comics, like when I say save my life in so many different ways, I mean it, because it, you know, not even saying that I was around, you know, rough cultures, but it was so prevalent, you know, when I was growing up at school, you know, they were kind of wild out there because people had this assumption that we were a cow town. We had people going extra hard trying to, oh, I'm tough, I'm gonna do this. You know, that's what it was like. So that stay inside culture, me and you, we would have been besties. Like
there you go.
Literally, you know, maybe we'll go out, we'll go see a movie, but then we go home and we stay and we play video games, read comics. That's
exactly. That's it. That would be it. I'm like, all right, I'm good. We good. All right.
$1,000,000%.
Let's see. We got some comments here. Robert says Dusty Rhodes once yelled at Jim Cornette for saying, "Did you see that? Ronnie Graven's face went up like the challenge."
That's cold. It's cold.
As much as people don't like Jim Cornette, I like listening to him. He's hilarious. Some things I don't always agree with him on, but he's hilarious. Like he's just hilarious.
Sometimes personality matters. Like that's it. Yeah. That's it. Dom, I feel that. You know, being on honor roll was definitely like a high mark. And at the time, you know, for us growing up, your reading wasn't necessarily tied to your grades. Like I was getting good grades, even though I wasn't much of a reader. But what I can tell you is that once I became a reader, my grades skyrocketed. Like I was good for A's and B's through most of my elementary time. But once I started reading, all A's, like until I got to middle school and girls became a thing. But like, that's different. That's different. Very different. Right. But you know, yeah, it's crazy how, again, I think if we were to poll all of us geeky individuals, the amount of similarity to our lifestyles and situations would be phenomenal. Like we would all be like, I know exactly what that is. Like that's definitely me. So especially as Black nerds, like we're such a unique niche demographic within a minority of a minority that, yeah, like all of our stories, so similar.
And before I move on to, and I remember because like really like for like Black people like an anime, they were like, what? Mm-hmm. Like, come on. Like it was you would find it's like hidden corners of the world. Like you like Dragon Ball? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That you're dropping codes, you know. Kame.
Haka.
You know? So you know what that is. Okay, you know what that is. Yeah. You know.
But yeah, I didn't find people like that until I started working at GameStop, which is hilarious.
Really? Yeah. Wow.
Which is the wildest part. And they turned me on to some new stuff. I was like, Outlaw Star. What's this?
What is this?
But our main joint was Cowboy Bebop.
So, okay, here's where I reveal my truth, and I have to reveal it because if my man Jean Paul sees this, he's gonna call me out anyway. I am not a huge anime fan. By way of like, I'm aware of a lot of it, right? Like a whole bunch of it, I'm aware, but I just never sat down and actually watched a lot. Cowboy Bebop, I've never finished all the way through. I've seen most of it. I did watch the live action, and I've enjoyed all of it. But it was just something that I never saw like beforehand. What makes it bad? This is what makes it so bad. And funny enough, this all kind of ties around. Jean Paul and I, we were in Philly for Keystone, the Reed Pop show from a couple years back, and we're over at the Reading Terminal, and Steve Bloom walks up. Now I've known Steve for a little while, so I'm like, Steve, my boy, what's going on? Blah blah blah. And he's like, oh, Victor, how are you? I'm like, I'm good, I'm good. And as he talks, Jean Paul realizes who that is because he didn't know him visually, but he's like, you're Spike Spiegel. and Steve is like, yeah. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And Steve is like, oh, I played this character. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, you play all the characters, Steve, like whatever. He's like, yeah, but it's from Cowboy Bebop. And so then Steve is actually married to what's the oh my God, I just lost her name. What's the chick that they brought on to the ship? Has her own story.
Oh shoot, now I forgot her name too.
At any rate, he is married to that voice actress. Like that's who he's married to
oh,
Steve
really? Oh wow.
Yeah. And
I didn't know that. News to me.
Yeah, so Steve is like, oh yeah, she's over there. And Jean Paul is losing his mind. And I'm like, well, yo, bro, it's good to see you. I'll see you at the show. You're here for the show. He's like, obviously. I'm like, bet, dap. Yes, Faye. That's who it is. So dap him up and we bounce. And Jean Paul dogs me. He's like, how are you friends with him? And you don't know who Spike Spiegel is? I'm like, because he's Wolverine. He's all these other things that I know. I don't know Spike. And she's like, no, he's Spike Spiegel. You don't talk. It was the funniest thing ever. And he has never, like, to this day, he has not let me live that down. He's like, you knew Spike Spiegel and you didn't know that. I'm like, I know him for other stuff. Like, I don't know what you want me to say.
That makes sense because like when you see like certain actors, like, okay, I know them from this. I don't know them previous. Like you might not have seen like the previous work or like no, because like a lot of people have small bit parts and other stuff, and you're like, all right, but yeah, I have to, I have to agree. Like, if you never see Cowboy Bebop, it does make it hard. Like you're friends with Spike Spiegel, and you never told me as your friend with Spike Spiegel.
That's literally, were you there? Because that's literally what he told me. He's like, how are you friends with Spike Spiegel? You didn't tell me. I'm like, I didn't know he was Spike Spiegel.
That's not like, that's why I've been like, I don't think we know each other anymore. How are we friends? We don't know each other anymore. Listen, like, we don't know each other anymore.
I had to work my way back into his friend circle from that one because he was so mad at me. He literally went across the street and told everybody that we knew at Artist Alley, like, you know, Vic knows Spike Spiegel and didn't know. I'm like, bro, like I thought we were friends. He's like, I thought we were too, but no, like it was one of the funniest things ever. So funny.
I had to agree because I would do the same thing. I'm just like, yo, like
it's true. It's true.
I'm like, he knows Spike Spiegel. And he never told me that he knew him. We've been friends all this time. He didn't tell me he was friends with such Spike Spiegel. Like,
listen. That's sorry, JP. My bad, bro.
Like, who told you to put the bomb on? Maestro told you to put the bomb on? I didn't think you put the bomb on. Maestro told you to put the bomb on. Okay, who's the Maestro? Oh, you know the Maestro? I just need the Maestro.
I mean, you know, the only thing that would have been funnier is if I was like, "Hey, you want to go get some beef and vegetables?" And we just ain't got no beef. Like that would have made it that much funnier. But you know, I didn't know it at the time. Like I hadn't seen it. You know, I didn't know any of that. So yeah, that was part of the thing. He's like, you have to watch it because you know Steve, and I'm like, all right. That's fair. So, what do you do?
Ratface44, what's up? He says, "Sup, dudes, just dropping by to say hi. Off to a metal show. Well, have fun.
Hey, absolutely. Enjoy.
We got man Beast Boy joining us. Dante, what's going on? How you doing? Rob says, not gonna lie, I have the 4 Horsemen up on my phone. Take my money. Oh yeah, they already got my money with like some of the stuff they were already talking about.
Yo, wait a minute. That statement, Law and Order is the new teen. That is the realest real.
I didn't think about it like that.
I feel like both of those shows are the living embodiment of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. You can get to everybody through those two shows. Wow.
Yeah, that is true. I didn't really think about that. Well, Robbie, you finally said something that I enjoyed. It wasn't AOA this time because I'm not a big fan of Age of Apocalypse, so they get on me about that.
Wow, really?
What?
Any particular reason?
I think it was just so many spinoffs, and then I was just like, I didn't like the artwork on it.
Wait. Yeah. When you say you didn't like the artwork, you mean like completely? Not Joe Mad, not Andy Kubert, not
I like Joe Mad and I like Andy Kubert. Don't get me wrong. I like them.
Right?
Joe Mad's one of my favorites.
Right?
It just didn't grip me as a kid.
Not Adam's work on Weapon X. Like maybe I'll give you like Steve Epstein's work on X Factor or Factor X was a little raw.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I did.
Okay.
It's crazy part. I had like first issues of most of those books.
Yeah,
and I was like, no, this ain't doing it for me.
What about Chris and Generation Next? Like, no, dude, the redesigns of the costumes and the characters had me. Like, oh my god,
it wasn't for me.
All right, that's fair.
I was like, I didn't like Wolverine missing a hand. I was like, nah, this is like my X-Men. This is I just want my X-Men. I want my Jim Lee era Chris Bryant X-Men. Like, give me that. Just give me my X-Men.
Okay, I got you. Now Tony Daniels on the Gambit in the Extra. Listen, this is what makes it so bad. I'm telling you right now, I'm going back through memory banks that I have not opened in decades, thinking about who did the artwork for these different books. And I'm like, wait, how much of a fan was I? Steve Scroce on X-Men? Like, no? Like you wasn't feeling that? Like, no? All right.
Like, I like X-Men, but I didn't like the whole flow of the story of the whole arc. I got you. And I was just like, no.
Okay.
I just want X-Men back as it is. Like what Jonathan Hickman gave me in like the past 2 years of X-Men. That's what I wanted as a kid.
That's where Cohen era has been fired.
I was like, yo, when I read Jonathan Hickman, I was like, Jonathan Hickman, X-Men. Okay, he did good. I was like, I like his Avengers run.
Right.
I was like, give X-Men a try. I didn't know I was going to fall in love with it. I was like,
shattered your brain. Listen, the framework of what he set up was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Matter of fact, okay. Do you mind if I wax just for like a hot second? So over the weekend, I was thinking about how I would bring the X-Men into the MCU. And this is one of my favorite pastimes of like, how do I do this? As a storyteller, what would be my framework? So I'm gonna bring this to you and your audience and see if you guys like it. Obviously, if Marvel ends up doing it, I had no idea. I'm literally just spitting off the top of my head what I would want to see happen. So what we would have is the movie, as we heard speculated for a long time ago, is that it's called The Mutants, right? Like that's the first movie. And that's exactly what I would go with. Because at first I was like, I hate that name. I think it's stupid. But let me see if I can work with it. So this is how it would start. We start off with a huge action piece, and it is the X-Men from the Fox era movies. And they're aged up, whatever. They are in it, a fight to the death against Scarlet Witch. And Scarlet Witch has the Time Stone. And they're like, I mean, we're talking last stand. Like this is the last like few minutes of this battle. Like it's about to go down. Like literally it's about to be over. Where, familiar 3 claws pop out of her back. She got stabbed by Wolverine. We don't even see Wolverine. We just know that's who did it. And in her last breath, she activates the Time Stone, right? And she disappears from everybody. And she's back in 1940. And as she's dying, she says, no more mutants. And so this energy wave goes out, rippling reality, whatever. And now we're fast forwarding back to present day where Professor Charles Xavier wakes up from this dream. And he has this understanding that at some point in the 1940s, this happened. and the entirety of the MCU that we've experienced thus far is post M-Day. That's why there are no mutants, because she went back in time and said no more, and now he's aware of it, and now he's trying to find the mutants that are left after what she did some 70 years ago.
I like it. So it brings up the continuity issue again at MC, because remember, Spectrum is in that universe.
That is true.
With Beast, and she sees her mom. She's like, "Oh, you're who? Okay,
right?
All right." I forget what was it like. I can't remember the character's name. Not Starfire. I keep wanting to say Starfire for some reason. I forget.
Not Starfire. That's wait. Where are we going? You're saying Marvel character,
right? I forgot like who her mom was supposed to be in that universe.
So she's binary.
Binary.
Yes, she's binary. Yes. Now, wait. Bart says, but they have established that there have been mutants before 1940. Yes, there have been mutants before 1940, which is why there is an effect on what she says. But if you remember from the comics, with M-Day, it doesn't wipe out all mutants, but it's such a vast percentage of them that it's basically all mutants. There's like 198 mutants that are left with powers after M-Day. So if you like extrapolate that idea, even if you look at She-Hulk, which was not a super popular show, but they definitely make a reference that Wolverine exists in this universe, he would be obviously one of the mutants that did survive and still becomes what he becomes. But overall, the number of mutants, the thousands, if not millions of mutants that we've seen in comics aren't there because this is post M-Day, and Scarlet Witch has said no more mutants, and time has just moved forward because no one knew to turn it around because she went back in time to do it. So we're talking like even before Cap becomes Cap, she's done this, and this is part of the effect.
So, okay, I'm trying to think see how this will work, because you had the Fantastic Four who are going to be set, I think they said in the 60s.
63, right.
Man. That would be...
I mean, you can even say something cool like the reason why it didn't affect Namor is because he was around vibranium. Like, and it didn't affect him because the magic bounced off of vibranium or whatever. Like, any number of things could be, written into that.
What? See here, Bart knows this stuff. Like, but Cap isn't a mutant by birth, so chemical mutants apply.
I would say Cap's not considered a mutant, generally speaking. Metahuman of some sort, because of the super soldier serum. But like, this is why mutants weren't prevalent in World War II. Because she's done this before we get started in World War II. So if there were any mutants, they got wiped out.
That is true. Let's see. Strident says, interesting concept to introduce the X-Gene into the MCU with the weak multiverse saga. I wouldn't say it's so much weak. I think it's just leaning too much heavy on it. I would say.
It definitely isn't as strong as it was before. And I think part of the problem is they established the framework of the saga. Like they established the theme of the saga before they established the framework of the saga. That's the problem with the multiverse, because when we look at the Infinity Saga, it actually doesn't like set up that that's what it is until Avengers. And that's what, 6 movies in? Like that's a lot of movies in before they go, oh, and by the way, this is where we're actually going.
Yep.
So if they had done it, a little bit more thoughtfully, like, all right, so we're gonna throw out all my different, like, if I was in the writing room, this is what would happen. So if I was in the writing room for Endgame, and Endgame was a phenomenal experience. Like, don't get me wrong, from a narrative standpoint, it's a terrible movie. Okay, it's a terrible movie from a narrative standpoint. It's not a great story, but from a fan experience, watching it in theaters, one of the best things that's ever happened in cinema. Hands down. What I would have had happen is Kang would have got introduced in Endgame, because what would have happened was Thanos' snap. He would have actually taken somebody out in Kang's timeline, like his bloodline. Somebody would have gotten taken out, and Kang is coming after Thanos to get him because he did this. And basically the Avengers have to recruit Thanos to help them fight against Kang, because that's how you establish the next guy is worse than the first guy. Is when Kang comes back and he starts wrecking shop, and he's got Thanos like, what did you do? Like, tell me what you did. And Thanos like, help. Like when Thanos has to come to the Avengers because this guy has kicked his butt, and everybody's like, what do we do? Like, how do we do that? You can still get the whole time heist and them undoing everything, but how much cooler would it have been if the idea was we have to stop that dude? And even after it's all over, they're like, okay, we beat Kang, we stopped it. And like Thanos is like, you don't understand. Like, all we did was make sure that he does happen. Like, that's all we did.
Yeah.
He's inevitable. I thought I was inevitable. He is inevitable. Like,
ooh, yeah.
Let's go. I'm sorry, I'm a super nerd and a writer.
No, you're fine. I'm thinking about it. Because I'm still thinking about like what you said about the X-Men too. So let's say, okay, just throwing it out there. Let's say this.
Go for it.
X-Men is already established in their universe. So it's like a whole new team. So it's like new actors and everything. So, and that's where Spectrum is, where her mom, Binary, in this new X-Men universe. They figure out a way to get her Spectrum back to her universe, but somehow the X-Men get sucked into this MCU universe. And now they're stuck here.
They can't get back.
Exactly.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Now they start gathering helping other mutants who they find have the X gene and help them. That could kind of work. But then it's like, where's Charles at? Where's Charles been at all this time? He could have. You can almost make like Charles like be in this dilapidated house. He's like, I never reached out to anybody. He's like, I had this dream, but I never reached out to anybody.
Man, couldn't feel anybody. Yeah, I think what would be dope with that, if I could speculate where I think they're gonna go, is I think you're right. Like they'll pull the X-Men from that universe, from the Marvels, and into the MCU by way of Secret Wars. And through Secret Wars, everything is going to get destroyed and then rebuilt so that they're all together. Like that they've always been together. I think that's ultimately what would happen. And I don't mind Secret Wars being the solution to undoing the M-Day scenario. But what I really like is it's the explanation how in this universe there have not been that many mutants, and here's why. Because this threat that Scarlet Witch has been like all along, forget Agatha, it was Scarlet Witch all along that was actually a huge threat. Yeah. Because this is what happened, and yeah.
Oh man. Woo. It's fun.
Listen, I spend so much time thinking about stories. I love stories. It is my life's blood. I hated Eternals. How did you feel about Eternals? Let me ask that.
So my hate goes from, let's say, Love and Thunder, Eternals, and then Black Widow.
Wow. Okay. All right. I respect it.
They're all three of them are just like that bad sandwich. It's like, who made this sandwich?
Who did this to me?
Who put mayonnaise with some potato salad on top of some bologna
with raisins? Who did this? I just need to know who did this. Yeah,
it was because Eternals, like, it could have been good, but it wasn't.
No, it was not.
Thor: Love and Thunder could have been good.
Oh,
wasn't.
Listen, you can make me start a whole podcast called "If Vic Rewrote the MCU" and just put these things out there and just see how people would react to it. Like,
just call me because I want to get in on that one.
Listen. I mean, listen. Here's one for you. For Eternals,
yes,
I would have woven everything into what was already established in the MCU. And when I say everything. Ooh, okay. Why did they do this? I would have started Eternals post snap of Infinity War, right?
Right.
Thanos is on his little garden planet, and the Eternals show up, and they start wrecking shop. Like Thanos' army still exists. It's the Eternals that destroy it. Like they're the ones who do it, and because they were sent by their celestial, I can't think of his name. They were sent by him because basically the celestial plan on Earth got interrupted by Thanos. So he sends the Eternals after Thanos, and again to show the scales of, hey, we're more powerful than you. By this guy that wrecked shop, for our greatest heroes before, we wrecked shop on him. And what would have happened is Ajax, their leader, shows up and talks to him and says, you set back the celestial plan. We will destroy everything. But we have been told that you can stay still. Like you can be whatever you want to be moving forward, but you got to get rid of the stones. And as a compromise, because Thanos has just witnessed that they have destroyed everything. Like his entire army, they've destroyed it all. He makes the snap to destroy the stones. And that's why he did it. When he explains in Endgame that the stones were temptation, it's because the Eternals came and kicked the snot out of him and made him do it. Because that's what they told him. This was temptation. This was power, and you're not supposed to have that. We're not going to undo it because we've got nothing but time. All we have to do is wait. The humans will get back to where they're supposed to get to, but you can't do this again. So get rid of the stones, or else we're getting rid of you. And he's like, done.
That does. I like that. I was thinking more of the lines like what I think it was still Jonathan Hickman who was writing Eternals. That story with the world engine.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Like make it kind of like that. Still have him like linked to Thanos. But like, look, Thanos is on the loose. We need to wake up the machine. Like you see, like the whole world engine just wake up. The Eternals is like, yeah, it's time for y'all to get out of your slumber.
You gotta go do this. You gotta go handle this. Your boy is messing up.
Exactly.
I would have gone as far as to say that Phastos helped build Wakanda.
Woo!
Yeah, that's right, Dante. Phastos helped build Wakanda. And when they find out that he is an Eternal, is why they close their borders, because they don't want outside influence. And when they realize that he's an alien, they kick him out and they create the border and say, this is why we can't do this. Because we wanted to be the ones to guide ourselves, and you are this outside force, and we don't like that. And so that's why they're technologically advanced more than everybody, because Phastos helped them build stuff.
Oh man.
I'm just saying, like if I was in the room where it happened, these are the conversations.
You were in my mind when you said that. Because I was thinking like, this Hamilton rep is right here.
The room where it happened. This is what we would have been talking about.
Oh my goodness.
So
we might start a new show. We might start a new spin-off on this show. Oh my goodness.
I got you. We'll save what I would do for Love and Thunder for that show. I got you. Because my ideas for that one, you'd be like, why didn't they do that? Because they didn't call me. They did not call me. If they had called me,
a lot of us could have rewrote that. A lot of us could have rewrote that. Us who were fans like, Gore the God Butcher should have been like more. You should have had him more stronger. Like there's no like, okay, cool. I'm going to collect all the children. Nah, there was no collecting children. It's just like I'm killing exactly Zeus, everybody. Like he's like, and you wouldn't have jokey Thor. You would actually have like a John Krasinski Thor, like coming down. Like you're like, look, I can't have you doing this. You're messing up stuff.
You gotta stop.
Exactly. Oh, so, we might new show, folks.
Law and Order and Seinfeld. Seinfeld was another good one where people was all on that show. It's another good one. That's
true. Robert says Superman's laying Batman. Rob, you just start trouble again. See, I thought you were doing good for first Rob. Now you're just messing up. How does no one know Clark Kent is Superman? The glasses, sir. The glasses, hair, the little S curl. Come on. He doesn't keep that.
Yeah. Actually, I think that the best showcase of that, like truly the best showcase of that, is Frank Quitely's design from All-Star Superman, where the physical presentation of Clark Kent is frumpish. and hunched. But Superman is like, you would never think that they're the same guy. Never. Like,
oh man,
that's brilliant.
Well, I tell you, I love that story, and I loved it when they made it into a movie. I was like, wow, like you all knocked it out of the park on this one. I was like, you see you doing it with your animation because you are knocking it out of the park.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. One of my favorite stories of all time.
Rob says glasses versus no glasses, the worst disguise since Hulk Hogan put on a Japanese wrestling mask. Rob, you're just going all out. I remember the average for Shaka Zulu.
I mean, oh, I mean, that was back in the day. Robert's got a time stone, and he's going back through time right now. Remember when this happened? No, that is incredible. Incredible.
So this I do. I remember the average for Shaka Zulu. Yes, it was like Shaka Zulu coming on. And they would come on like February. It wouldn't come on here until I'm in the year to be like February. I'm like, really?
You know why. You know why.
Yep.
Everybody knows why.
Bart says, I just made it. Rewind it so I could see what I missed. Sorry, Bart. Can't do that for you. I can't go for that.
Catch the after show. Catch the after show. That's what it is.
Let's see. Bart says, Dante's my brother from another father.
Hey, I get it.
I'll thank you. Thank you, Bart.
I get it.
Fort Phillips says, what's up, Dante, Victor, everybody? Listening to you guys in the background. I'm driving right now. Be safe, my friend.
Absolutely. Both hands on the wheel.
Hey, Abnugler. He says, how's it going, Dante? It's been a while since I've caught the stream live. Hope all is well. As you see, we are back for full effect. I was going to say June we were going to be back, but Victor picked this day. I was like, oh, well, I guess we got to start.
Listen. It's June Eve. It's June Eve. We're leaning into it, so it works out. True. It definitely works out.
There's no presents to open, unfortunately, on June.
No, you don't get to open presents, unfortunately.
That is true.
Big love in the comments. I love that.
Robert says, back when Steve Bloom was one of the only 8 English voiceover actors working in the industry at one point.
That's true. That's literally true. You know, in fact, Crunchyroll still to this day, like you have to live in Dallas to work for them because they built the hub there. And if you don't live in Dallas, you can't work for them. Like that's one of their, because they need to be able to like bring you in right away if they got something, background, extra character, whatever. So pretty much everyone that works on Crunchyroll dubs lives in Dallas.
That's really weird because like I know when I talked to Cal Dodd at New York Comic Con last year, he said he had to go back in for some voiceovers, like to do some new ones. And I think he was still like he could go back to Canada and like kind of do it from there.
Yes. So what's interesting is what we found is that is for people that are established voice actors outside of Crunchyroll stuff. So Cal being the voice of Wolverine, he can do what he wants to do. Like he can do what he wants. But other people that are specifically trying to be anime dub actors, for them, have to be in Dallas.
Oof.
Yeah. Like only if you hit like a certain level can you possibly live in LA and do it. But for the most part, they want you in Dallas.
Well, here goes my dreams.
No. I mean, just consider moving to Dallas for a little while if you really want to. That's all. It's like a little while.
Maybe.
Like 2 years. 2 years. We'll call it like going to school or something.
Yeah. Grace Steve was everywhere in anime as a voice actor. He had so many roles. That is true. That is very true. Dom says, a few years ago, I was eating sushi at a table next to Tom Felton. My coworker was so pissed when I told her since I'd never seen Harry Potter, I barely knew who Tom Felton was. Yo, I've never seen Harry Potter, and like I kind of know who some of the actors are, but I refuse to sit down and watch it. Like that's just me. I'm sorry. It doesn't grip me.
No, not at all.
No,
I mean you gotta watch something of Harry Potter, like at least once.
It's like I remember what the hype about, like, oh man, this book's great. I'm like, what book? Because at that point I was older. Yeah, I'm like, what book are they even talking about? Like,
what are they even talking about? Harry Potter.
Like, this sound like some bad books. Like the name of Sorcerer's Stone, The Prisoner of Azkaban. Like who? What?
Right? Hey, that's actually one series that I'm surprised there's not like a a very adult spin-off version. Like I've not seen like a fanfic, spin-off like inspired, like 50 Shades of Grey was a fanfic inspired version from Twilight. I've not seen something like that for Harry Potter. And I feel like
out there. You got
to be. Yeah, you're right. My search has not done that. But I'm like, the Prisoner of Azkaban, like somebody ain't right there, like
exactly. Like come on, that's somebody was like, thank you, JK. All right, folks, get ready to roll. Come on, get the cameras out. We got a new title.
Yeah.
Says, don't forget Steve Bloom is the voice of Tom, the host of Toonami.
That's right.
I miss Tom.
Yes, that little robot dude was cool. He was the coolest.
I thought they were supposed to be bringing him back.
That would be great if they did. Are they bringing back Toonami?
Yeah, I think. I thought they were supposed to be bringing it back to Toonami.
That would be great.
But I know they already pushed Adult Swim up to 5 p.m. And they're like, yeah, since really no kids are watching at that time, we're about to push Adult Swim.
Wow, Adult Swim starts at 5?
Yeah, I think they're really thinking about doing it.
Okay.
So we'll see.
You had to
stay up for like 4 hours.
That's so crazy. So crazy.
Rob said I had a smoke and a drink with Sonny Chiba and didn't realize it was until he said he said have a nice night.
Wow.
That's wild. Yo, I don't know how I was at. I'm like,
yeah, no.
Cheers, sir.
In all my days, I don't think I've ever accidentally encountered a celeb. I don't think I've ever done that. Like, same. Yeah, it's always been very like, I see you. I know who you are. That's just what it is.
Yeah. You know what? I'll say this. When Cody came to my job, when they had WrestleMania in Philly, I was like, I got to go. A friend was like, we were getting ready for, it was in June, and we were getting ready for Hip Hop History.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, I can go outside. And then one of the coworkers was like, yeah, they got this wrestler guy coming in. I was like, wrestler? Like, who's coming in? I was just like, it's probably some like one off, like one of the mid-card or something.
Right.
He's like, this guy, Cody Rhodes.
What?
All right, everything's gonna stop. I don't care what's going on right now. I'll meet Cody Rhodes. Don't care what's happening for June music. I don't care. I'm gonna be late. You tell them I'm gonna be late down there.
Tell them I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna make it. I love it.
Let me tell you, that man, inside and outside, has the same energy. He's the nicest guy.
I love it.
Cody has me dying. Like he's like, yeah. So I guess they were filming something for him, at that point in time for Facebook. Yeah, he's like, I was like, all right. It's like, all right. I was like, hey, how you doing, Mr. Russell? Like, I enjoyed your documentary on Peacock.
Let me tell you about this deep cut that I know you know you. Okay, I've seen your work, sir. That's dope.
There was a lot of people in there. It's like, all right, and I know he's really on time. It's like, do you mind if I get a quick picture with you? He's like, yeah, sure.
Right.
Like, come on. He's like, come on. He's like, bring it in. He's like, all right. I didn't know I was almost the same height as Cody.
Wow. He's tall.
Yes, he's like, he's got to be 6'1", 6'2", I would say.
Okay, all right.
I'm like, dang, but I miss Becky Lynch when she came. I was like,
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I got hold up with something doing IT stuff at work, and it's like,
I mean, it happens, you know.
But I got Cody. I was good with Cody. I was like, yep, I got my boy Cody.
Right.
Got his championship. I was happy.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. Rob says I gave him a Camel Y and he brought me a beer.
Hey, that's dope. That's a good trade.
Yeah.
That's a good trade. That's what I'm talking about.
Grace said War Horseman finished the reviews. Oh, awesome. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. Abnelli says, Dante, we all know you secretly love AOA just as much as you love Top Out. Okay. So you don't know about me and Todd McFarlane.
Okay.
I have a beef with the man.
Let's hear it. I just met him face to face for the first time in Calgary last month.
All right. So this beef goes back I want to say to 2018.
Okay.
It kind of started in 2019, but 2018. So I think it was 2018. He was at New York Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
He just came off the sci-fi stage. I was waiting for the Marvel Legends team, come and do their thing and then come off stage. It's like, hey, I was like, you know what? I wish you all the best. Getting your Spawn movie made. That's I hope it gets made. So he put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, well, it's like a child. You just gotta try to develop it and make it grow. And he's like, all right, cool. Like, I was like,
a good conversation.
Yeah, right. It's like I'm Todd's black son. This is awesome. Then came 2019. He started Kickstarter for a Spawn figure.
Mm-hmm.
Says it's gonna have all this articulation. It's gonna be great. I was like, cool. I like Spawn. I will love an articulated Spawn figure in my collection.
Mm-hmm.
Kickstarter ends. Yeah, so we couldn't put the articulation in there.
Oh, that was like the selling point.
Exactly. I was hot. I was so mad. I was like, you know what? Me and Todd are on the outs now. We're done. We are so done. That's how the beef started for me.
Wow.
Because he sold me some false goods. When I got those spawns,
yes,
I immediately put them on eBay to sell. Wow. I opened the box, seen they were in there, closed the box, taped it back up.
What if they were cool? Like nothing could get you to wow. I'm literally hearing your heart break all over again. I'm so sorry.
They were pre-posed, so Spawn was kind of like posed like this,
right?
And I don't want that. I don't want him sashayed to the side. I just want him standing straight up. Like, can he just if he was standing straight up, okay, I will let you slide.
Right?
He was like kind of like the.
He's like Melboja. Hey, I'm your violator. Hey, wow.
So me and him had beef since then. Then he took over the DC line, the figure line.
Yes.
And I'm just like, dude, how many Batmans you gonna keep coming out with?
All of them.
That's what at this point I figured he's came out with at least 70 Batmans probably in my probably count. I'm just like, not gonna get any other characters.
No. What other characters? It's Todd McFarlane, Batman.
Exactly. So that's why I have beef with Todd.
Okay. All right. Wow. All right. Beef. I respect it. That was a funny one because I was assigned his moderator, but Todd doesn't want a moderator. So I knew that going in. So I knew I was just going to introduce him. And what was funny was, I go out on stage and I introduce myself first. I'm Victor Dandridge, hardest working man in comics. Ladies and gentlemen, Todd McFarlane. And I could see it on his face when he's like, hardest working man in comics. Who are you?
Google me. Man.
Google me. You'll find out. Like, Google me. And, it's not that like I was pressed or he was pressed for real. But I think there was like a moment where he was like, who is this guy calling himself the hardest working man in comics? And if I can wax a little bit about a story where the first time that this really kind of happened, it was C2E2 2018. And what was crazy was the whole reason why I specifically was there was Mark Miller, my friend and mentor, my buddy, was coming to the States and at a show for the first time in years. And he's like, I'm coming to C2E2. You got to come so we can actually meet because we'd only met and spoke online. And so I'm like, bet, I'm going. Like, that's what we're doing. So we go and there's a panel where it's him and Brian Bendis interviewing each other. It's a fantastic panel. It was absolutely amazing. And they're just jawing and it's great. At the end of the panel, I slide to go backstage to say hi to everybody. So I speak to Brian. I speak to Mark. Mike Negan, the head of C2E2, is backstage. We're taking selfies. CB Cebulski had just been elevated to editor-in-chief, I think like the year before for Marvel.
Right.
And like I'm dapping up everybody. But I don't know CB. I've never met him. I know who he is, but I had never met him. And so CB is kind of like, so everybody else seems to know who you are, but I don't. Who are you? Like, why is everybody speaking to you? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm Victor, I'm called the hardest working man in comics. I do this, and this, da 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 da. And he's like, how have I never heard of you? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, you have now. Everything happens when it's supposed to. We've met now. And like, we spend the next 20 minutes walking back to the floor and just chatting, just shooting the shit, whatever. And that was like one of those times where, again, not as a purposeful flex, but it ended up being a great flex of, I knew everybody else back there but him, but the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics. And he comes up to me like, hey man, who are you? Like, why does everyone know who you are? What am I missing? Like, you are clearly somebody I should know, because everybody else is like, oh, it's Vic. What's up? Selfie. Like, everybody. And it was one of the coolest moments, because I'm just like, oh, yeah, no. Hey, CB. Like, because when he walks up, I'm like, hey, CB, how you doing? And he's like, you clearly know who I am. I don't know who you are, but everybody else knows you. Like, what am I doing? And, just being that guy, is a wonderful experience. And
yeah, I'm happy to know you. I'm happy I got to meet you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, look, I had to wait to meet you. I met CB. Like, I've been met CB, but I just got to meet you. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it all happens in phases and stages. Like, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. I'm with you. It's wild. Man. Like, some of the folks that the artists that I met, because I was like, if you go to a con, the best people you're going to meet are Artist Alley.
Yes.
Like, because they're the ones who will sit down and talk to you. Even if you don't buy anything, they'll still have a full conversation with you, and then you'll be like, you know what? Let me go ahead and get that piece of art right now.
Let me get something. Let me get two of those. Yes.
Like, the one guy I met, I found out lives in Philly, Ben Harvey.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh my god, I was like, dude, we still gotta get a Wawa and cheesesteak.
Yes.
But Ben is awesome. He's so awesome. He remembers you. Like, and I was like, I still got to put my interview up with him on the channel. But Ben is awesome. He's a nice guy. I finally met Paragon Unity.
Okay.
I could. A lot of stuff was like, I gotta keep this YouTube.
yeah. Streamline this view. Yeah. We can't. Eyes here. I get it.
Show none of this because YouTube's gonna be like,
yeah, no, flag.
Yeah. I'm more mad. I'm not mad. I did get to interview Concrete Comics, but I'm mad I didn't mic them up.
So yeah, you got to get Lonzo mic'd up. Yeah,
they're good guys. I love them. I met them at my friend's comic shop when it was still open. Amalgam Comics.
Yes. Big shout out to Ms. Johnson. Yes.
Because for back in the day, we all used to be when we did I joined them later on, but I was with the Black Tribbles when they were doing their radio show.
Got you.
So that's how this show got spinned off. Got started because of them.
Got you. Love it.
Let's see. Before I go into wildness again, Jalen 4H dropping definitely look good. Yes, they are. Bart says, but they established that they have been mutes from 1940.
That's right. Any more? Yep.
Did that. Yep. Okay, so here we go. Bart says, what if they do the kill all mutants thing? Mutants run away to the outback and set up shop there, and Gateway opens a portal and pulls the X-Men in to help.
I like it. I just need a really good explanation as to where they've been. Like, that's the thing that I need, is a great explanation for where they've been. Krakoa would be a good one. Listen,
you got a giant that nobody's talking about.
I just want to pretend like that movie never came out. Like, that's where I'm at with Eternals.
I know.
The movie didn't even happen.
But you're like, this John Celestial out in the middle of the sea, y'all. Nobody gonna pay attention to this? No?
Nope.
Okay, we just gonna leave that there? All right.
It's supposed to be a theme in the next Captain America, but we'll see.
Oh, they actually want to send out some ships out there, like.
From what I understand, they're saying that's where adamantium comes from. That's the substance that Tiamat is made out of. Is now adamantium. It's not my favorite thing. Like, far from it.
I'm not
far from it. We're just gonna move on. Listen, Eternals never happened. Okay, it was a
Exactly.
sketch of a movie. It never came out. Never came out.
Sharon says, I agree with Endgame time travel parts could have been better. Yeah.
Yes.
Grace says you can use Secret Wars / Battle World to merge X-Men.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah,
that's what I think is going to happen right there.
But again, Battle World was not one of my favorite comics either.
That's fair. You know,
Thor Corps. Now the Thor cops were great.
Yeah,
I love them.
Yes, Thor Corps. I love Thor Corps. I think what would be amazing is if we get Secret Wars, and see, for me, Secret Wars would be its own saga. So we would have different movies within the Secret Wars saga, because that way we could get an X-Men versus Avengers and make that a Battle World piece. Like that would be so dope if you to do all of Secret Wars. I mean, Secret Wars is a long miniseries. Both all three of them were really long. Secret Wars 1, Secret Wars 2, and the Hickman one, they're long. So to make the one movie, I feel like it's gonna be rushed.
But the real thing that everybody was gonna be hyped about is like, this is when Spider-Man gets the alien symbiote.
That would be great. Million%.
Oh, it's black costume Tom Holland. Oh, like,
let's go.
And then you have Shocker. He's like, Shocker. You gotta put that Johnson.
You gotta put it in there. You gotta put that in there. No, that's gotta be in there. That's right. That's iconic.
Abnoger says, I like your pitch, Vantage. I'm pretty sure the real intro to mutants in the MCU would be worse, though. I think they'll just do post-crisis on Infinite Earth / reboot on the MCU after Secret Wars.
And that's what I don't want. Like, I want somebody to take the time to put it together so that way if they do the reboot afterwards, I want it to be where they specifically don't put some of our fan favorite expectations into it. And we feel that loss because we already got a presentation of them. Right. Like, okay. I said I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to say it.
Right.
I'm going to tell you what my version of Deadpool Wolverine would have been.
Okay.
Now, this is a movie that's not out yet. So I have no idea if any parts of this are any parts of this. But this is what I would have had happen. Deadpool is in Canada. He is clearly in the MCU. We don't know how he's here. He just is, right? He's in Canada, and he's watching the Canadian-run presentation of Rogers, the play. And one of the key actors in this play is Hugh Jackman. Singing, dancing, Hugh Jackman. Deadpool goes, Wolverine! And so he kidnaps Hugh Jackman, believing that he is Wolverine and that he's been mind-wiped. And he's trying to get him to realize that he's this killing, ferocious person. And the entire movie is him trying to put Hugh Jackman in life-threatening situations to activate his healing factor and to get him to realize that he's actually Wolverine. Now, because this happened in Canada, Department H actually sends operatives after Deadpool. And the whole thing, the entire thing, is a mystery as to who will actually be Wolverine. We actually use different actors that people have speculated should be Wolverine over the last few years. And until we get to the last one, each one is seemingly Wolverine-esque until they get to Deadpool and he kills them. And we see that they're not Wolverine. Until we get to the very end, and whoever it is, Daniel Radcliffe, that should be Wolverine, is the last person. And that's how they introduce Wolverine to the MCU, is that he's going after Deadpool to save Hugh Jackman. Because Deadpool believes that's actually Wolverine.
That's good.
Again, I'm not in the room, though. I'm not in the room. I'm so sorry. I'm not in the room. I'm sorry, guys.
If you're going to be... Look, I need you in the room for Blade so they can finally start that. That's why I need you in the room for Blade so they can finally... Because I'm tired of, they got to throw out... They got to do a new script. What was wrong with the old script? What
was wrong with the other one, man? Like, what's going on? What's going on?
Look, this is what you need to do. Let the script out. Like, let pieces of it out. And let people decide, like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, let's do that one. Let's do that one.
Yeah. Let's
choose your Blade adventure Choose your Blade Adventure. We'll turn to page 97. If we don't like that one, we'll go back and we'll figure out, oh, no, I need to turn to page 38 because that's a better return. Okay, that's what we're going to do.
As long as it ain't like Madam Web, we're good.
Yeah.
Or Morbius. I mean, like, when it's like when you're doing Kamehameha, like, okay. So again, I'll bring this up. For those who see Morbius, he did a Kamehameha of bats.
He did.
Which I didn't understand where it came from. Unless somebody was a Dragon Ball Z fan, it's fine.
I mean, it's a cute idea. It was a cute idea.
But this was not the movie for it.
No. This is far from it. Far from it.
So,
wow. What do you do? All
right, let me see if I do some of these real quick. J-Lam says they have the X-Men Hop universe and that actually unlocks / introduces X-Gene in the universe.
I see that.
Strand says Eternal movies was meh with boring characters.
Completely.
Grace says the Thing, Love and Thunder, Widow, and Eternals all had good aspects, just really had bad implementation.
I'll give it to you for Widow. Widow had good ideas. Like when you have David Harbour, that's a great idea. Exactly. That's a great idea. When you have Rachel Weisz, great idea. Florence Pugh, great idea. Everything else,
but they had one of my favorite characters, Taskmaster. I'm like, yo, this, like you bring a Taskmaster, like the person who copy all the moves, like yo, come on. And then it's like the CGI head on this. I'm like,
womp womp.
And then like you killed Taskmaster. I'm like, no. This is what they bring. That's what they should do in the Thunderbolts. Is like bring out the real Taskmaster. He's like, yeah, that's just a fake copy. Like they do with Hobgoblin. Like every time. Like,
yes,
that was a fake one. He's like,
so this is what that's what that was based off of. They were trying to do this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See that now. There we go. Don says Quantum was bad too. I watched it and couldn't tell you one thing that happened in the movie.
I'll tell you what should have happened in that movie. What's one thing that you would have changed in that movie?
MODOK
was rough. MODOK was definitely rough. Yes.
The full story of Janet's.
Yeah.
Like it was
so
a
many
weird.
problems.
Yeah, it was a weird story.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the overall whole movie was weird.
You know it's bad when a fan interpretation of a line is better than the entirety of the movie. So here's the line, right?
Okay.
There's a thing that Kang says where he's like talking about Avengers that he's killed, and I think Scott makes a reference to Thor, and Kang is like, "That's the one with the hammer? Is that the one with the hammer?" And the fan statement is, "What if it wasn't Thor that he was actually talking about? What if it was Steve when Steve was going back to put back the Infinity Stones and he had Mjolnir? What if that's who it was that Kang encountered?" And I'm like, that is a much better idea than the entirety of that movie. Much better.
I still feel, to this day, you had the groundwork for Kang laid out. And this is the show I'm going to reference. And I love it to death. And my man Dave, we had him on the show, the director for season 2 of this show, Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Man, we're not going to
talk about your layout
because it was perfect. That was perfect.
There was your layout.
That was perfect.
Captain America's the reason why I'm here.
Yes,
he's the problem.
He's already a man at a time. He's not supposed to have been here.
Exactly. And then he runs across Falcon. He's like, and you're who?
What are you? That's not. He's got a picture he brings up like that's
right. He'd be like, nah,
that's not. You're not the same. Like, who are you? Yeah, I need Rogers, not you.
And then he finds old Steve Rogers. He's like, I'm here to kill you. And that starts off. Now you can almost do that for like Captain America 4. Yep.
I would be here for that. I'll be here for that.
Or you can even do it as its own movie, like as like another Avengers movie. Like, yo, like what's this ripples like have little ripples in time, like start floating around everywhere. I'm like, what's going on? people like started trying to figure out. Tell me, like,
listen, you talk about things that would have been dope. Let's say, as an effect of Kang, you start off where part of the way through Quantum Mania, you get that time ripple, and all of a sudden, it's not Scott Lang. It's the third Ant-Man, the bad guy, O'Grady. Like, it changes where it's Eric, and now he's Ant-Man, and no one can figure out, like, who are you and where did Scott go? And he's like, who's Scott? And you're like, what just happened? Like, we just witnessed time changed. What happened? That's how you see Kang. That Kang has been doing stuff, and stuff is changing through time because of him. Like, that's when you're just like, man, what is this Kang dude? What is this?
Like, or you could they could have did that too, and still like or have like Hank Pym still be Ant-Man creating Ultron. Like, it's like, oh my, who's that? Like, that's Ultron. Like, yo, that's you. Why'd you bring that here? Like, oh, that's
why'd you bring that down here? This is my helper.
Yeah, he's like my helper. Like, what do you like? Nah. Just try it.
No, you gotta get rid of it.
Take it back home, disassemble it, don't put it back together.
I need you will never make that again. Never make that. Yeah, like there's all kinds of things that they could have done with Kang that would have been. First and foremost, like, I love Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is a phenomenal actor. He's a great addition to the MCU. Kang should have killed him. The idea that I get it. You have a superhero movie, superhero's supposed to fight and win. I get it. You're talking Ant-Man versus Kang. That is not even a fight.
Right.
There should be like no way for Scott Lang to do anything, to not even land a punch. Like, no, you can't fight me. Like, you clearly can't fight me. Again, if I was in the writer's room, Scott Lang would have died. And what would have actually beaten Kang in that movie would have been the advanced ants, because through time, they would have actually built up themselves where they're having technology that matches Kang's technology. And it would have been the ants that win, not the people. The people would have barely gotten away, and it would have all been the ants. So that way there's like this whole thing where you go, well, we can't even just use them because the ants are so evolved in advance. Like, we can't even understand what they did. So it's a cool sort of hand of God moment that saves the day, but something that cannot be replicated by the humans at all. Like, they can't touch it. And it would have been the explanation as to it's technology that's going to ultimately beat Kang. You have to be of the future mindset, all that good stuff in order to beat Kang, because otherwise he is just too good. You can't beat him. Set the bar. Set the bar. Just saying.
Did it freeze up? Holy. Uh-oh. Everything's kind of choppy.
I see you. I can hear you. It does look like you might have frozen on my screen, though. But I can still hear you.
Disney caught wind of me.
They heard me. Oh, snap. They coming. The TVA is on their way. My fault. That's my bad. Joe. That's my bad.
That's really weird. Why is it acting like this?
That's crazy.
All right.
Oh, wait. You're catching up. Let's
see.
At least it sounded like it.
I thought it was, but
I did too. You're still a little choppy on my end.
Let me refresh myself real quick here.
I got you. Yeah, Greg says that you are frozen, but we hear you, and they can see and hear me just fine. Bart said Kang got a hold of you. Listen, Kevin Feige sent Kang after Dante. Cut him off. This Dandridge guy is telling too much.
It's really weird. Like everything's like moving super slow.
It's the TVA. Listen, you're in a time distortion bubble. That's what happened. It is Kang.
No, actually, I think it's my laptop. Like because it's moving.
Uh-oh. Hi guys, I'm the new host for the show. How we doing tonight? I'm gonna hold it down until Dante gets back. We're gonna see what we can do here. I have no idea if I'm actually still streaming. So guys, let me know if I'm actually still in here, if I got kicked out or anything like that. It says everyone can hear me and see me. Tom McFarland said the Hit Squad. Listen, that unfortunately, he sent Tony to Twist Tortelli, and that's a hard dude to say no to. What we'll pray for is that Miracle Man shows up, and we'll hope that Neil Gaiman sends Angela over to save the day. That's fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. That is too funny. That's too crazy. Listen, I appreciate everyone that's still in the chat, though. You guys are holding it down for Dante very, very well. Much appreciate all of you. This is super dope. If you guys are so inclined, I definitely have a channel on here, Vantage InHouse. So feel free to follow that and check it out. Definitely follow me at Vantage InHouse on pretty much all forms of social media. That's Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz. Look for the hardest working man in the comments. Wait, I think he's coming back. Wait for it.
Hold on.
He's still 8-bitted up a little bit on my end. You're clear.
Okay. I think
frozen.
Really, I know what I think they're saying. They're having issues with Twitter. I think that's a problem.
Got you.
Because when I came back in, it said it was having an issue streaming to Twitter. So
let
me see if I.
While you do that, there's a couple of requests. So Bart said Victor tells us a wacky comic story. I'll tell you a great one. 2004, I'm at Wizard World Chicago with my friends. We had just done, or we had planned to do that whole raise money for older creators. The Friday of the show, I was the only artist on hand. The other guys weren't going to get there till Saturday morning. And so, again, with the non-artist that I am, I was able to raise $100. I think it was like $104 specifically towards our cause, which ended up being ultimately $450 that we were able to raise and donate to Actor at the time. And so, having made $100 off of my art, I was feeling myself. Like I was that guy. I was like, yeah, I'm dope. I'm sweet. And so in the after hours at the BarCon, I see editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics at the time, Joe Quesada. And Joe is clearly like looking around, like looking for someone, right? Me feeling myself in my gumption, I made $100 today. I asked him, hey, Joe, who are you looking for? Like I know him. Like it was so brazen of me. And without missing a beat, he goes, someone important, and keeps walking. And there were people around me that was like, oh my God, he dogged you. Like, oh, he dogged you. And really, I took that as a challenge. How do I become someone important enough for Joe Quesada to look for? So fast forward, this was in 2004. Fast forward 2021, Fan Expo San Francisco. I think it was Fan Expo San Francisco. Joe Quesada is there, and I'm his moderator. And when we get there, I'm there waiting for him. When he gets there, he doesn't know who I am, and he's like, "Who's the moderator? I want to give him, this connection thing because I want to show some stuff on screen." And I'm like, I'm your moderator. He's like, oh, cool. I was looking for you. And it just kind of came full circle where I was like, I got a funny story to tell you, but I'll wait till we're on stage to tell it to you. And he's like, okay. And so I go into this thing. I was like 2004. It was 2004. And I run through the whole story. And he's like, I said that to you. He's like, oh, I was such a D-hole. I was like, no, you were literally looking for someone. I was the one who interjected myself. You were literally looking for someone. And I could tell you were looking for someone. He was like, you know who it probably was? And I was like, who? He was like, Nancy, my wife. And I was like, very important person, like with all due respect. But it came full circle around. I was like, so here we are, not quite 20 years later, I was the important guy that you were looking for so you could set up your display, and there it is. And so he was just like, well, there it is. Now I found you and you made it work. And I was like, that I did. So That's my wacky comic story that took many years to finally catch up and be true. But I finally put myself in a position where Joe Quesada was looking for me because I was important. So there you go. Let's see. Stryden says, "What's my thoughts on X-Men '97? One of the greatest things I've ever seen in my entire life." To be fair, and I have to set the stage for this. I saw the first episode twice at a sneak screening in Toronto, first part of March before it aired on TV or on Disney Plus. They had Toronto Comic Con had not only Larry Houston, the art director from the original series there, but they had voice actors from the show there. And so the energy was dope. And Marvel Studios did like this dope breakfast themed presentation of the first episode. And so like they had bean bags and armchairs, like Lazy Boy style. And they actually served breakfast. And we got all together Saturday morning. It was 10 o'clock Saturday morning to watch the first episode of X-Men '97. I was one of the first 50 people to watch it. And it was astounding. Okay. Like if you haven't seen it, if you've been waiting, stop waiting. Go watch it. Cyclops, elevated. That first episode, the use of his power, elevated. He has one of the dopest lines Cyclops has ever uttered in that show. Elevated. Like, go watch it. And I literally got up the next day and saw that they were running the first episode again and got to go in again to watch it. So I had seen it twice before it aired on Disney Plus. It was so dope. Episode 5 destroyed me. Gambit is my favorite X-Men. That's all I'm gonna say. Destroyed me. Loved where it went storyline wise. I love the way that they mix and match different things, different storylines from different eras. It was beautiful. Stryden, I loved it. I hope you liked it. I'm very curious. The biggest thing I'm concerned about is what should season 2 be called? Should it be called X-Men '97 season 2, or should it be called X-Men '98? Personally, I think it should be called X-Men '98. That would make me happy, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Greg said, if I could get Marvel Legends to make a specific character or even a specific team, who would I want to make? My favorite Marvel character of all time is Black Bolt, King of the Inhumans. If you guys are fans of Rob Jefferson from Comics Explained, that's a buddy of mine. Tell him how dope Black Bolt is, because he refuses to believe me when I tell him how dope Black Bolt is. But I would want a full run of the royal family of Inhumans. Medusa with really cool articulatable hair. Give me Gorgon, Karnak. Like, I want everybody from the Inhumans royal family. That's what I would want. And I would just be curious as to how they would dare showcase Black Bolt's power. That's what I would definitely want that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. Domino does not get enough love. Big shout out. If Black Bolt farts, does destroy worlds? No, because booty cheek speak doesn't count. Booty cheek speak doesn't count. That's not it. Dom C, listen, I'm going to tell Rob that, because I know he'll love knowing that. Like, to wake up every morning to him is fantastic. Rob is my guy, though. A big shout out, big love for him. It's super fun, super fun. Greg wants to know, was I a fan of Young Justice? And if so, did I like its eventual return from DC Max? Yes. In fact, Young Justice did one of the dopest things I've ever seen in terms of connecting threads from the DC universe that have not explicitly been said. So to take headcanon stuff and make it real, like the idea that Saturn Girl is an evolved Martian, and that's why they have mental powers as well. That's dope. Like, that is not actual DC canon, but the fact that they put that in there and kind of bridge that gap, I think that's amazing. Like, stuff like that excites me, because it speaks to the fan in me who looks at the full tapestry of storytelling opportunities and then feeds that. I think that's some of the coolest stuff ever. Absolutely ever. Spider-Man '98 would be amazing. Yes, I would like that. I would like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The original Spider-Man 2099. Yeah, I would like that too. Definitely. Omega Weapon, you're not wrong. That we never got to see Gambit in their full showcase is that hurts me. That hurts me. I definitely would have wanted to see that live action movie. In fact, can I say that? Am I allowed to say that? There was another actor who was approached to do Gambit before Taylor Kitsch, before Taylor got the role in Wolverine Origins. There was another actor who was approached about it, and he did end up in the MCU. The guy that I'm talking about, in a very role near and dear to my heart. But I would have been very curious if he, for his portrayal of Gambit. Like, I think it would have been amazing. And somewhere in the multiverse, that's the way it happened. So, yeah. Get the spot in Spider-Man 98 for Dante. That would be dope. Absolutely. Out of curiosity, how long does he usually stream? Like, how long does this usually go for? I don't want to take over his whole show, but I mean, if I got it, I'll keep it going for the people. I just got to know exactly how long does he normally go for. If you guys can tell me. 2 hours? Oh man, we're almost there. All right. Yikes. I stole his whole show. All right. Well, hopefully in the next 19 minutes he comes back. That'd be wild. Bart, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your service as well. Rest easy, rest quick. Yeah, sweet dreams, brother. Definitely. Absolutely. And actually, I'm going to throw out something crazy for everybody that's in the stream right now. If you would like to check out some of my work for free, hit me a DM. Drop me a DM. Vantage InHouse. Let's use Instagram. Well, no, we can use Instagram or Twitter. What I want you to do is DM me your email, and I will send you a link that will have most of the books that I've written. Because I've written a lot of stuff through my imprint, Vantage InHouse Productions. We have a range of different things. So I will send you a link where you can download and read as much of my stuff as you want. Because I'm always trying to build my fan base up. And I think the best way to do it is to get you guys to read some of the books. If you like it, I'm sure you'll want to buy physical copies and all that jazz, but I want you to read it. So definitely drop me a DM with your email, and I will respond before tonight is over. I will send that to you guys for sure. And if you are so bold to tell me what are your favorite comics of all time, I'll see if I can recommend which one of my things you should start with. Bart, you want me to fix Madam Web? You're about to leave, but I could totally fix Madam Web. All right? Like, here's how I would fix Madam Web. I wouldn't change anything of that movie. Okay? This is going to be crazy. I would not change anything about that movie. What I would do is I would then take the next step and make it a show. A 3-season show where it's Madam Web trying to train the 3 girls to see which one gets their powers first. And through their interactions and things, it opens up to the greater Spider-Verse universe. Like that's one of the things I think the movie did wrong by saying it's a Spider-Man spinoff. It's a Spider-Verse spinoff, not Spider-Man. It's a Spider-Verse spinoff. And like the first person that gets their powers ends up like joining the Spider Society and Beyond the Spider-Verse. Like they literally tap the Spider-Verse, and it becomes this whole thing where it's kind of like Charmed, but for spider folks for the show. And you can build off movies for individual spiders from there, or for the individual girls from the movie from there. But Madam Web as it is would just be this great starting point for a show that I think would be amazing. Yeah, that's what I would do. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. He's back. Oh, I was nervous. I was so nervous.
I appreciate you. You're doing good by yourself.
I got you.
You got the show. You know what, folks? I'm done. This is Victor's show. It was great being on here. Yeah.
Come on now. Come on. No.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
Of course.
My computer froze. I don't know why. Something's.
Listen, I'm telling you, Disney's got snipers. That was your warning. Okay, so I'm gonna stop talking. because that was their warning shot. Listen, I want to get you in trouble. Okay, TVA will show up at your house in the middle of the night. That's just exactly. I don't want that to happen to you.
We got those heavy hitters out there, don't you?
Yeah.
Don't you say nothing.
Hey, Weapon X is knock on your door. You're like, whoa, What is happening? I love it.
Exactly.
Dom said you just turned it off and turned it back on. Works like a charm. Works like a charm.
This up real quick here.
Oh, that's too funny.
Always.
Yeah, Bart, you're absolutely right.
All right, so we'll go through this real quick here.
Yes. I've been answering things from the chat, so I hope that's all right.
I appreciate that. Like I said, I've been listening because I had it on my phone. I forgot
I
to have it on my phone, so I couldn't get back to that one.
Okay.
But yes, check out Victor on Vantage InHouse on Instagram here. Keep up with all the latest and greatest that's going on with this gentleman.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
When I see the Samaritan, I thought, you know what I thought it was? The movie.
So let me tell you how much of a hornet's nest that was for me when that came out, because that movie is based off of a comic book series, and Braggy Schrute is the writer creator of that series. And I'm cool with Braggy. Like, I met him a couple of times in San Diego, have no problems with him whatsoever. His story is called Samaritan. Mine is called The Samaritan. And it's splitting hairs, but it's very, very important. My story was published from 2011 to 2013. His came out in like 2015, something like that. And I had people for years be like, yo, did he steal your stuff? I'm like, no, it's a totally different story. Like, it's a very different story. Because like, I remember when I found his series on Comixology, and I bought the first 2 issues just because I wanted to see what it was. Like, is it close to what I did? Like, I don't know. So reading it is a very different story, completely different. Fast forward, they announced the movie is in development. I get people calling me, yo, is this your? No, it's not mine. It's this other guy's. Oh, okay. I thought it was yours. No, it's not mine. Movie is getting closer and closer to coming out, and you see Sly Stone in the hoodie, which is very synonymous with what my story like showcases. My character Smith is showcased, like, he epitomized wearing a hoodie. And this is 2011 when we did this. This is like to show how far back it reaches. This is before Trayvon Martin was killed for wearing a hoodie.
Oh wow! Like
it's before that. That was like 2012. So like this, I kind of set a tone for what this superhero wearing a hoodie thing was. So this is before Black. This is before all these different books that use it very, very well. So the movie is coming out, and I'm getting calls like daily, messages daily. My own father was like, Vic, I think they're ripping you off. I'm like, Dad, they're not. Like, they're not. Like, it's a totally different story. Like, but Vic, like, you see the hoodie. I'm like, I get it, but it's a different story. Like, I'm telling you, I've read this story. I know what it is. Like, it's not the same. It's not the same. And he's like, I think you need to call a lawyer. I'm like, Dad, it's not the same. I promise it's not the same. So like, people were so gung-ho. So what I ended up doing was, when I finally watched it, and I watched it like within the first week. When I finally watched it, I live tweeted while I was watching it. And I did it so that people would, one, know that I'm fully supporting this movie, like fully supporting it. The artist, and oh my God, it's Olivier, but I can't think of his first name. His first name is escaping me, so I apologize. But the artist saw that I was doing that and thanked me for it. Like, yo, big ups to you for talking about the movie, blah, blah, blah. And then Braggy saw it later on, and he commented like, hey, man, I really appreciate you doing that. I was like, big love, and I apologize if anybody had said anything untoward, to you in reference to me and my series. Yes, we have the same, similar name, and visually there are some similarities, but it's a very different story. And in truth, I appreciate that you've gotten this ball rolling to get this movie made, because now I understand what I need to be looking at if I want to do an adaptation of my book. What things did you do that I should stay away from? What things did you do that I should lean into? Like, you set a bar that I can now stand on. So thank you for that. And he's like, appreciation. Like, it was a mutual love fest. It was great. Right. But I had so many people that were like, no, they stole it from you. And I'm like, they didn't. But what's really funny is, if there was something that is close to my version, The Samaritan, that I could say might have stolen anything, it's the first season of Luke Cage from the Netflix stuff. The first 3 episodes, is almost my book verbatim. And I had a buddy who worked at Marvel that was like, hey, listen, I'm not saying that they had your book on set, but they had your book on set. And I'm like, you're lying. He's like, I'm not saying they did, but they did. And I'm like, what? Get out of here. And the best thing that I could showcase as like kind of the, I see it. Episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
There is a guy getting his haircut at Pops. And it's a light-skinned guy getting his haircut. And when they finish, the guy gets up and he starts to leave. And Pops goes, all right, Vic, thank you. And leaves. This is not a recurring character. So the fact that they gave him a name is already weird. The fact that they call him Victor is something. I'm like, that was the acknowledgement. That was them telling me, like, they put it out there, like, wink and a nod. If you know, you know. And so I started using it as promotion. I used to say, like, hey, did you like Luke Cage? If you did, you'll love The Samaritan. And I'm like, you know, The Samaritan is a multi-million-dollar commercial for my book. I just didn't have to pay for it. So I'm like, hey, we can like both. Both exist. You know, I will, hey, did you like this? Check this out then. If you like that, check this out. And, you know, I had people like, why aren't you mad? And I'm like, why be mad? Again, it's a multi-million-dollar commercial that I didn't have to pay for. And, you know, if I tried to sue, am I going to sue Disney? Am I going to sue Netflix? No, like that'd be stupid. That would be so stupid. And again, when you have the frame of mind that I have, which is let's build, because I'm all for building. The opportunities that have come out of me not taking that negative approach are insane. I've moderated for Mike Coulter. Like, we've had great conversations, and I would never have that opportunity if I had sued. They would keep us away from each other. Exactly. I'm friends with Theo Rossi. Like, I am friends with Shades. Like, I have him on my phone. I could call him. That could never happen if I had sued. So,
when can I be big time? Like,
what you mean? Like, listen, I had to meet all those dudes and get ready to meet you. What do you mean? Like, this is.
I appreciate that.
This is the tip top. Yes, this is the tip top. That's what that is. But yeah, so like, you know, there are different ways that you can play this game, and there are so many people that get so very precious about their ideas. I'm not that person. I say there's enough room for all of us. There's enough food on the table for all of us to eat. Go for it, you know. And if somebody does dip into my lane, I even take self-responsibility and go, well, that's my fault for not having already cornered that market. That's my fault. And so that way I'm always empowered. And, you know, I saw what could happen. I had no idea how many people got it braggy to be like, yo, you stole this from Victor. I have no idea, but I know people said it to him. Like, I know they did. And to me, that says that I've done something right in terms of my, you know, brand penetration, showcase of this title. There's so many people in the comic book world that when they heard that, they immediately thought it was me, that I'm doing something right. And the fact that that movie isn't mine, that's fine. It just means I'm still building, and just keep it moving.
And it shines light on your stuff too. It's like, okay, well, there's 2 books.
Exactly.
Right. Let me read the other book.
Let's read the other one. Yeah, let's see what it is. You know, and there's room for that. You know, that's how you build. You know, another book of mine called Wonder Care Presents The Kinderguardians. Right? It's basically Muppet Babies meets the Justice League, and like we had a couple issues of it out, and I meet this young lady Ellie at C2E2, and she's got this book called Power Punch Boot Camp, and it's little kid superheroes. And her artist, Alejandro, and my artist, Justin Castaneda, like, they're friends. They're both in Chicago. And so I'm like, yo, we should partner up. We should team up. We should throw, like, shout-outs to each other. And so we started doing that as, like, little sort of play-ons. Ellie's in England. So we've got, like, now an international sort of tag game going on. And we've been teasing, like, we're going to do some big story where we incorporate everybody. And we're just going to have them all meet. Like, why not? You know?
Yeah.
There's no harm in it. There's nothing but fun. And that's the way we think comics should be.
Exactly. And that's what it should be. Real quick, we got super chat here from Stratton. Good luck, $10.
Let's go.
I appreciate that. Thank you. He says, Victor, as an amateur artist who struggled with putting ideas on paper, any tips to practice writing and describing panels for the comic book page format?
Absolutely. So the thing to do number one, is to do layouts. And when I say layouts, like the idea is think of an action, singular action. And that's very, very important because, again, when it comes to like beginner writers, they don't understand that in comics, it is about singular actions because they'll say things like, you know, XYZ character enters the room, crosses to the other side, and opens a window. Well, you can either have them enter the room or you can have them open the window. You can't have both in the same panel unless you're showing strobe effects that show them in different positions, like they used to do with Spider-Man all the time, or the person's a super speedster, and you're showing speed lines, showing them hurrying up to this other side and doing that. That's different storytelling, though. So when you do it, what I would say is think of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 camera angles to do any scene, right? So say I'm going to show somebody entering a room. All right. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to see a wide angle shot of that. And basically what I do is this exercise called big action versus little action. If it's big action, you do this viewfinder, and this is so silly, but you do the viewfinder and you bring the camera closer to your eye. The closer the camera is to your eye, the more stuff you can see. So you want to see somebody enter the room, you're going to show the door, the walls, what else is in the room, the furniture. You're going to see framework of the room itself as they're entering. That's a wide shot. Then you want to say maybe do a little action, which is a close-up, right? So the camera goes closer to the action. So I want to see somebody enter the room. So I'm going to do the same layout, but I'm going to do it as a close-up and see what that does storytelling-wise. What does this tell me now? That there's something about this person entering the room that's very specific that I need to pay attention to. Maybe it's how they're talking. Maybe it's their expression. Like there's something that is important to how they're entering the room, not just that they're entering the room. Then you pick a shot in the middle, a mid shot, and you're going to see like maybe half of them or 3/4 of them entering this space. There's going to be something different that you see when it comes to that. And again, just those 3 camera angles, you're already getting into storytelling, but also framing out different aspects of what you can see. The last 2 are bird's eye view and worm's eye view. Bird's eye view is kind of where, from a storytelling perspective, you're seeing into a situation. So it's kind of, and this is such a gross sort of example, but it's like if you looked over into the stall as somebody using the bathroom, they don't know that you're there. You're looking over into them, so it creates this idea that you're peeking into a situation that other people would not be aware of. So if you're using that bird's eye view, the person that's walking into the room is telling some sinister plan or some means of betrayal that they're going to do, and nobody else knows that they're going to do it. You're secretly showcasing this concept of storytelling that we're sneaking in to see something that we're not supposed to see. And then worm's eye view, where you're looking up, creates a sense of grandeur. So the person, as they're walking in, seems bigger or more dangerous as they've now arrived. So 5 different ways for you to do some storytelling of the same thing of a person entering the room, sketching those out, and you'll get different understandings of storytelling from each one.
You know what made me think now? Like nobody, I don't think I've ever seen was a first-person comic.
I've never seen that either. And that would be wild. That would be wild. Where all you're seeing are like hands.
Right. You just see hands and you just see word bubbles. That's it.
Yes. I've never seen that.
That would be wild.
That would be incredible. That would be incredible. Or a protagonist character that you've never seen. That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
It was like that. What's that movie?
I know exactly. Hardcore. No.
Yeah, it was
exactly. Hardcore Harry? Is that what it's called?
Yes, Hardcore Harry.
There we go. Yes.
Or Henry. Was it Hardcore Henry or Hardcore Harry? I can't remember. It was
one
Hardcore
of those. Yeah.
That, where you never, there's no mirrors, no nothing.
Exactly.
Thanks, Nick.
Exactly.
Yeah, Hardcore Henry. Thanks, Nick.
I like it.
And real quick, before we got one more question here.
He said I'm going to look at stalls differently. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, what is the best way to meet up with other creators when you want to make a comic or short anime? That's a really good question. One of the best ways, and I hate to say it, is you have to do a lot of stuff on your own first, because what I have learned is there's a lot of people that want to be creatives, but when it comes to, putting rubber to the road and actually doing the work, not everybody has the same tenacity or dedication to doing it. And so the first thing that you want to do to find people is see who actually has done something, not people that say, I want to do something, but they've actually done it. And it doesn't have to be big. You can do 4-page comics, you can do 1-page comics, small mini comics, but you have to find people that have actually done something first and foremost. And then once you've done something, you can kind of compare notes and talk about your process. How did you do this? This is how I did it. How did you do it? And when you do those kind of things and you talk to people on that level, it becomes easier to find your tribe of people that you could then venture out to do stuff with, because not only do they know that you can do it because you have done it, but now you're exploring process, and how I do it might be different than how you do it. So we kind of want to work together to see what we can learn from each other. But that's kind of what I've seen as the necessary process, unless, of course, you're hired by some outside party that vouches for both of you.
Yeah. That is true, Greg. Thank you. Yeah, Greg said Doom had the first person POV for sequences.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, because we had a young
Carl Urban.
Yeah. Boy.
Yeah. And The Rock was a bad guy. Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh. Let's go back to that. Yes.
He actually had some common sense.
True.
And not peeing in bottles on the set. I won't go.
We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk
so
about
real
that.
quick, before we get out of here, if I could just borrow like 5 minutes from you.
Of course.
Look
at that.
I want to talk about this Kickstarter. I signed up for it. And if you like G.I. Joe and the older comics, this is the one to do it. Mm-hmm. This is they're doing the full compendium of the books.
Mm-hmm.
You can either get the G.I. Joe side or you get the Cobra side. And it's every comic that they put out for G.I. Joe. And I think was it 80s?
Beautiful.
Let's see, like 80s.
Yeah.
So they tell you what
this is
compendium one.
This is huge because the characterizations of G.I. Joe, so many people don't even understand that Larry Hama made up almost everything. Like the stuff that went on the back of the placards for the toys, that was Larry Hama and his writing for what was going to happen in the comics, and they just used it. So like this is the core of what G.I. Joe is. Like the core. The ninja emblem. Ask Larry Hama about that. How that was a mistake. How he thought it was cool to do once and didn't realize how many times he would have to do it all like over and over and over and over and over again. He just thought it was something cool to do once. It wasn't even like people have asked, like, what does it mean? He's like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, I just thought it looked cool. And he's like, I've seen people tattoo this on their person and don't understand. Like, I just thought it looked cool.
Now they look cool.
Now they look cool because I just thought it was cool. That was it.
What kind of threw me with this compendium? They threw in the G.I. Joe and Transformers storyline too.
Yes.
I mean,
like, when they say compendium, they mean compendium.
Yeah, they threw in everything.
I love it.
But
I love it.
You get the box set. So this is the Joe's box set.
Look at that.
And you get these two posters with it. Then you got the Cobra one, which was the one I went for. I had to go for Cobra.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. $600 does seem a bit much, but to get both,
look how much you're getting.
I know. I'm just saying, like I might have to get both of them. Both of them.
Yeah. And it's nice that they switched. They did different artists. So, it was Andy Cooper on both. Sorry, I thought it was different. Yeah.
No,
it's Andy on both.
Definitely Andy. Big shout out to Andy Cooper. That's my guy.
And then you get cards with it. And then if you do sign up, you get to choose which the last three are. So one by Ron Wagner, one by Dan Jurgens, and one by Larry Hama himself.
Come on. You know that Dan Jurgens is going to be it right there.
Yeah. And then
Paul Peltier?
Oh!
Yeah. Oh!
I didn't notice that they changed it up. Yeah, they changed it for Cobra side. Man.
Oh, I might have to get that Paul Peltier, though.
But
his
then you
run
get
on Hulk was.
They Skybound knocked it out of the park with this.
They did. Big shout out to Brad Anderson.
Oh Lord, it's so much. It's but they break it down to like each one here. Unfortunately, the one with Larry Hama book plate is sold out.
Of course it is.
Which
look at that.
I'm not surprised.
See that his tank. I might have to get that one. I might have to get that one.
I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. Honestly, you can't go wrong with any of them. If you get all of them, you can't go wrong with it.
Look at that.
But the stretch goals, they hit almost immediately. Spot glass additive book sets, double-sided bookmark, Joe die cut sticker additive, Joe physical pledges and Cobra, Duke fold-out poster, Cobra Commander fold-out poster, satin ribbons. Look, I ain't even want to be preppy. I'm gonna be a little pipe. I might need a little sitting chair and a pipe with them. Like,
yeah, absolutely. You need a smoking jacket. Okay, you need a smoking jacket to read this book.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
Satin ribbons, foil fever, foil added to all compendium covers, spine and trading cards. Joe patch, Cobra patch, Cobra team fold-out poster, G.I. Joe team folded poster. Like, come on. And now they're adding gilded edges on the compendiums. That's what we have made it.
Come on. They're just making stuff up to offer now.
Yeah. But then
they're just making stuff up.
I'm
watching this happen in real time. It just bumped up to 4,125 backers, 4,125 backers. They're gonna hit it. They're gonna hit it. $14,000 away from 1.5. They're gonna hit it.
Yeah. This I had to get this. When I first seen this like solicited, I was like, all right, I'll check it out. I was like, compendiums, Joe compendiums. Like, that'd be good. That'd be nice to have in my collection. Like, I had a Joe, reading about G.I. Joe. I didn't know they were gonna go all out like this.
Oh my god. Yeah, that like 1.5. Yeah, that's gonna happen by the weekend's end. And I know I'm gonna be one of them.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna be one of them. Let me just.
And they still got 25 days to go.
Yeah, this is incredible.
They
haven't even offered any figures yet. Like,
no.
That's the crazy part. They haven't put a figure in the list.
I'm telling you, if they put a figure with this, it's done. It's done.
Yep.
You hit 2 million. You hit 2 million right there.
Yep.
Because all the Joe fans out there, like, and because I finally started, you can't really see, but this whole D-Talk is full of G.I. Joes.
Oh my god.
They're like busting at the seams. My his tank is upstairs on the
See? That's what I'm talking about.
But yo, if they gave us what everybody's been asking for, like a hooded Cobra Commander figure, it's done. Yes, they have not made a hooded Cobra Commander figure.
And this isn't even the Skybound pieces. Excuse me. This isn't the Skybound G.I. Joe stuff. Not the Cobra Commander series, not the Duke series.
Right.
They haven't even included that yet. So, yeah, imagine if they add that to the mix.
Now, I'm telling you, I told folks, like, I've been reading. I didn't finish reading Cobra, and I got the last issue of Duke to read. But man, those stories were fantastic. Even though they were like kind of like one-offs, I loved it.
Still good.
And you didn't have all the Joes featured. You just had there's like the Cobra storyline was interesting because I want to know, like, okay, did he leave human civilization to go hang with the people called Cobra? Cobra La La?
Is that what happened?
But that's a wild name for the. They're like Cobra La La. Like,
come on,
Cobra La La. Okay.
That's dope. Stupid dope.
Yeah, I was like,
oof.
I'm telling you, if you're a Joe fan, this is for you. This is for you.
Yes.
You can't go wrong with this.
1,000,000%.
Like, well, yeah, it shows my selection. It's just, but yeah, you can just get one, which to me doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't. Why would you want one?
You need it all.
To get.
You need it all.
Well, this is. I didn't see this one. Retail. Oh, it's retail.
Yeah, you gotta be a retailer for that one. But I know a couple of retailers though. I might have to hit them up. Like, are you doing this? Because I need you to do this.
But just for the one set's 300, like. But they do add extra $50 on for shipping though. And I was like, dang, this thing gonna be heavy as all what?
Listen, it's gotta be. Seeing how many
damage. That's all I know.
Man, not at all.
Yeah, better
that would break my heart.
I would be fighting somebody. I'll fly to wherever Skybound's out. I'll be like, yo.
What's funny is I literally just applied to be an editor at Skybound. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. We'll see. Because Skybound's my joint. I love Invincible. Big shout out to Bobby K. But like this, I would love to be a part of this.
Yo, who would? So actually, I do have a funny story.
Yeah.
So there's one job I was working at one point, and there was this woman where she's like, oh, you like comics? She's like, yeah, my ex-husband works at one of the comic companies. It's like, where at? Dark Horse. She put me in contact with this man.
Who was her ex-husband?
He is this was it the CFO
of Dark Horse? Wow.
I think so. I think that was the title he had. This man, she put me in contact with him. I just said, hi, how you doing? I was like, I like Dark Horse comics,
Right.
She's like, well, I can have him send you some comics. Cool. I'm thinking it's like maybe like 3 or 4.
Right.
No. I got a full box of old Dark Horse comics.
Wow.
And I'm like
we're talking like wow.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Indiana Jones. What else? The Hellboy, smaller version books.
Right.
Alien versus I think it was Alien, and it had Predator. Oh, I forget what else is in it. It was like a ton of books. I'm just like, I'm gratefully thankful. I appreciate this because these, I don't know if these were books were like out of print.
Wow.
Or they were just like, it was just like extra books they had laying around. They're like, hey, you send these, like whatever it was. I was grateful for them. They're on my shelf to this day.
That's awesome. That's what I'm talking about.
Lord, that's a lot.
That's dope.
I haven't still read through half of them to this day.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing, but Dom said, imagine she said image introduced.
Yo.
You would just have to eat it and be like, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
If that happened, I'd be like, yo. Me and Todd would still be beefing. I would mess him like, Todd, we got to sit down and talk because we got some beef.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. All right. I won't hold you up anymore.
No worries. No worries.
Folks, we'll have to go over the Four Horsemen stuff next week. But thank you. It's been a pleasure.
It's been awesome.
It's been fun.
Sincerely.
Oh my goodness. I've had it's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Big shout out to everybody again in the comments. Thank you guys for holding it down. While Dante had the technical difficulties.
Yeah.
It happens. The TVA was after him. I hope you're safe tonight. Message me tomorrow. Make sure that Kevin Feige didn't send the killers after you. I just make sure that he didn't send a hand after you. Okay, that's the whole thing. So,
what's that Feige robot? And she.
That's right. Exactly. Kevin will send them after you. You gotta be careful.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for having me on. It was an absolute pleasure, man.
Oh, thank you. Let's see. Don't have anything big next week, folks. So it's just a regular show next week. But yeah. So until next week, y'all stay safe. Have a good weekend. Happy hunting. And if you got your shield pack like I did, you tried out some new stuff here. I put the Sharon Carter head on the Sharon Carter MCU body. It works very well. I gotta put my black Nick Fury head back on my Nick Fury.
Yeah, you do.
Like classic. But I gotta put the black one back on.
No Hasselhoff. No
Hasselhoff. No Hasselhoff. All right, folks. Have a good night. Safe weekend.
See you guys.